Welcome everybody to another game of Space Marines 5. We got Slaughtermelon from Cedar City playing Commander, and I'm joined by Fireball DK.
What's up, everybody?
It looks like they're playing the Chula Vista team, and game's starting here in a second.
Yep. So Caleb's doing the downstairs rush here at the start. Manages to get a little cheeky reset on sleep for the week, going up the ramp. Doesn't waste a whole bunch of time, and then is going for the base run. So he can get up to 11 specials right off the bat, going for that early nuke. And I think he's going to try that little jump shot. Okay, I don't think he went for the jump shot. But if there's anybody who's standing up on third, I know sometimes he likes to do that cheeky little jump shot.
Absolutely.
At the end there.
All right, just in time, he hits Commander down, or no, Heavy down. Dill's Heavy. His team seems to be doing pretty well without him, or they were up to this point. They go running down.
Yeah, it goes real bad real quick. And then one thing that I like here is that he doesn't get real greedy going for the missile, but he saves the missile for the medic, so it gets it into the right person. But make sure that he gets a shot in everybody else. He got up to 20 specials. He hits the nuke. I couldn't really see if he has total ramp cover right there, but I mean, the entire other team's gone down the ramp at that point, so he's probably pretty safe to drop it. It doesn't end up getting anybody out, but it does put them really on the back foot, and you don't know what the other team's lives are. That's exactly the type of scenario where an enemy heavy or an enemy ammo goes out early, is off that quick nuke when you've just been flushed. So that was painful.
Yeah, absolutely. Funny enough, Kodama, without his bases, basically has more special points than Slaughtermelon at this point. But Slaughtermelon's getting his points through, bases, and he's got a couple missiles out already. I mean, Red is clearly winning this.
Yep, he got one into Cayman right there, and then he's going to get one against Freddy over the ramp right on that one. I'm not entirely sure why Kodama didn't stop halfway down the ramp to maybe avoid that missile, but, sometimes you just need to get out of there as quick as possible.
Yeah, that's one of his calling cards is the missile dodge. Score is definitely in favor of Red right now. They're just controlling the top floor. 19 medic lives to 11 for Applesauce. Slaughtermelon's just rushing around downstairs trying to find the points, terrorize the enemy team.
Not too sure what happened in the little green cave right there initially where he got put down the reset, but now you put down everybody except for the commander. And there was a moment here, that's one of the things that I noticed in first watching the video. So he gets Dill down, Dill runs away, he gets put down again right there. And the reason he doesn't run here is I know he says to Dill, oh, I would have a path there. I'm not actually sure that he does, though, because I think where Dill's path intersects is basically just past that cubby. So I'm not actually sure that he would have had a full 10 feet there, but I would have to watch that more closely. I don't know the level and Greedo well enough. But because he stops to do that, he then has to eat another missile from Kodama. So this is, to me, very akin to when the NBA players are complaining to the refs about a foul after the play, and then they let the other team get a transition basket. He just gives up the missile to Kodama there because he's too busy yelling at Dill about the chase.
Yep, that's why I think it's a big reason for the 0-point penalties is so that it's just, even if it was completely wrong, you keep playing, you don't make a big deal out of it. It'll just end up worse for you. There's both the resupply. No one's protecting them. So now it just becomes a wolf chasing a couple rabbits around on the first floor, as I like to imagine.
Yeah, Dill did manage to get a good reset on him back where Slaughtermelon didn't quite go far enough back that he was actually going to have cover, just kind of goes around the ramp. But he comments on being out of breath at another point in this video anyway, so I'm not completely shocked. It's just like, let me just see if I can hang out here for a minute and get back into the attack quickly without having to go all the way around that corner.
Yeah,
but he ends up going there anyway.
What would you think Green would need to do right now to get back in the game?
So get back in the game is a tall order at this point.
19 medic lives to 3 set up to 2.
Yep, they're going to need to set up some kind of rush, probably off a Kodama nuke, but they need to be positioned to get up both of the ramps, and I don't think Tandor has really come down at all. He's just managed to solidify his position upstairs.
He didn't need to.
So Kodama dropped that nuke. From where you can see the red ammo was right there was looking over the wall of the second floor, and then just quickly comes back up to resupply his team afterward, but was clearly in a forward area, and I think had put 3 shots into Kodama earlier, just being able to get over that wall. So that was a good setup for them. I think it's coming up here pretty quick. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, you're good. I mean, I hate to say it as a commentator, but the game's already over with Applesauce being out of the game at less than 5 minutes. Disco still has 16 lives.
Yeah, Caleb even asked him after that nuke. He's like, okay, medic's out. With Disco, what are you at? And he's like, I've only been shot once, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, nuke took him down to 16. So at this point, Green would try to survive if they could, set up some kind of a defense. That's all you can really do.
And this is a great sequence right here. Slaughtermelon gets Dylan down, calls the ammo over, so that way the ammo can get the reset by getting a couple points off Caleb. Then Caleb is able to go ahead and get the missile right there, and then waits for Dill to come back up. About the only thing, or things that could have made that more perfect, was if Disco had been in position, so Inferno could have used him for one of the resets and not have to lose the points. And depending on what's going on, if Caleb could have got the shield reset after he gets that missile off. But it's good in both of these cases that he tells his team when he's going to get the missile and doesn't rely on them to be mind readers to like, hey, don't shoot that guy, I'm going to missile him. So at least he calls that out, which is good.
Yeah. This is one of the big reasons that Cedar City was very dominant at the tournament. The players are working off of each other well. You know, Slaughtermelon utilizing his teammates for resets, and he's coming to take this position, swapping with Snuffles right now. I mean, obviously this is Slaughtermelon's home arena, or his original home arena. He knows it very well at this point. And I can tell that he taught a lot of the basics to his teammates before they came out here, because they played it excellently.
Yeah, and covering that third floor, a really good thing that might be kind of subtle, but I saw Slaughtermelon do, is when he saw there were two people on this red side of the platform, he immediately rushed to take it, so that way he was able to put multiple angles on anybody who's trying to attack from that fun box area, and so they can't just hide in the cubby in the big box on the second floor.
Right.
So immediately having chamber and having the fun box at the top sets up multiple angles. In one of the other videos, can't remember which it was, I remember seeing a 3-hit who just kind of stayed camped in chamber when there were people who were set up in both of those boxes and didn't run to take that position. So it's smart play by Slaughtermelon to make sure that they have the multiple angles covered there.
Yeah, absolutely. In this arena, if you're controlling tons of the top floor, you almost don't need to be just ramming your head into the resupply. You know that every time the team comes up, they step out of place, they just get shot down. It becomes a point farming situation. And as I was watching you guys on the resupply, the fan was talking about the mistakes you make in this arena do absolutely compound quickly.
Yep, 100%. And I think that happened to Green early on when they end up sort of pincered. When Slaughtermelon first comes up at the start, I was actually a little curious as to why he didn't immediately launch an attack on the third floor when he got Dill down on the initial kind of attack. But that may have already been planned, was that he was going to cover a closet, because Tandor is the one who comes across the third floor, eventually pushes them out, and then Caleb set up a closet so he can get the reset chain as they go down the ramp toward Pencil. So it actually ends up working out even better. I just wasn't entirely sure if there was a reason why he did that, or if he was meant to cover second floor as a set strategy.
Right. Well, it's a gamble, right? Because his team was able to push them mostly off, or at least keep their side, even though the green team had both 3 hits upstairs. So you got to give Tandor some credit there, that he was able to hold out till Slaughtermelon came up the ramp with 11 special points in hand. But there's situations where the commander stays first and they come upstairs and their own team is the one running past them to get down to safety.
And that was something that my team talked about quite a bit in trying to figure out how we could play against these guys. Say, well, look, if we know Caleb's always going to do this one specific thing, where he's usually going to hit his bases at the start and then come up the enemy team ramp. There must be a way we can counter that. And one of the first things we kind of proposed is, well, look, if they're going to have a 3-hit that's downstairs, that's one less that they have upstairs. So we just have to be able to put that much more pressure on them on the second and third floors before he's able to capitalize and then pincer us. Right. Because if we already have the area that he wants to take, if we've already taken chamber and we have control of the entire third floor on both sides, then it doesn't make any difference for him to come up the ramp. That's just another angle for him to get shot. He's already in a disadvantageous position. But weren't really able to pull that off, unfortunately.
Yeah, was Tandor just able to meet you at third and hold it, or was there anything?
I think it was a matter of Tandor holding his ground, but honestly, who I really have to give credit to is the scouts, is Thunder and Snuffles putting enough pressure on the flanks, knowing to split up in order to have multiple angles at any given time, so that way you really couldn't move without always having at least 2 shots of the 3 people who are up there, either Snuffles or Thunder and Tandor, who all had some kind of angle on you. And Inferno as well, because Inferno was able to work that ramp and was able to be an effective communicator and an effective defender, kind of utilizing on that ramp side, so he can go up and get shot into third or onto the green ramp, or he can come down and shoot toward closet in that direction. So if they have, a clear spot where the big box is clear, then they have at least a few more options. Where it all seems to go wrong for red is if you go up the ramp, you end up trapped, and you get one of the enemy players comes into big box and now has the angle on you. That's when it really gets painful.
Yeah, absolutely agree. We generally consider red side to be a little stronger, but also higher risk, because if you have to come out of fun box, it's a long way down with no cover, and you're going to get reset. So you need that big box as well. They kind of go as a pair. I think that's why we use box for both of them,
Absolutely. And it's kind of counterintuitive, too, because you would think that with chamber being kind of the preferred resupply area, that green has the advantage to be able to get there first. But because you can kind of cover space a little more effectively on the red side, it's like you can set up the attack to push them out of there a little bit more easily. And I think that's kind of what red team did in this particular situation, is they had enough pressure to hold the box, wait for Caleb to do his very quick thing, which happens, I made a note of it, it happens within like 30 seconds that he manages to get both bases, come up, and now they're in an advantageous position to launch their attack.
Yeah. Couldn't have been more than 1 or 2 trades between all the players upstairs, so not that big Probably of a risk. Not. And it worked out for him, clearly.
Yeah, Dill, in fact, didn't even have a chance to get low enough that nuke had a chance of taking him out, because they ended up losing the third floor so quickly. So in some ways, that's kind of like a silver lining that they weren't, fighting over it for a solid minute for him to lose a couple more lives, or be in a situation where he had to take resets and be unable to help his team. So in that sense, sometimes I think our problem when we played them was our fights at the start got too prolonged. So when Slaughtermelon would throw that early nuke, sometimes that would be the undoing of our heavy, and then it really is a massive uphill climb the rest of the game.
Absolutely. I've been killed out of the game early as heavy many times in that arena. It's pretty common, because whoever concedes first is going to essentially concede third if the other heavy knows what they're doing. As soon as you start getting resets.
It happens more often in your guys' field than I think almost any other field that I've seen. Even St. George, which plays very fast and can be very aggressive at the start, I think because there are a couple other built-in fallback spots, whereas if you lose control of both of the third floor boxes and you have to go all the way down, that could be a little rough.
Oh, yeah. St. George and our arena, they play similar in the sense that they are complete boxes of chaos, I guess.
For sure.
It's just so much fighting from the moment you start, and there's not many places to run. So St. George also has compounded, consequences of mistakes in that arena as well.
Oh, yeah.
Changes the way the game's played, for sure.
Yep, but we got the masterclass in how to play the arena, and even though these ended up being the top teams of the tournament, granted, this was the practice day, right? Because the third floor was still uncovered. So Chula Vista got a lot better over the course of the week, but even though they ended up coming second, I think this kind of shows why Cedar City was a cut above. not just because of Caleb's excellent play, which he does play very well in this video, but because his team is so well set up and is able to cover space effectively because they're utilizing pretty much all members of their team to cover space, to cover one another, and to take control of key areas.
Absolutely. I think that was shown pretty well here.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this particular video, but if you'd like to watch any more Space Marines 5 videos, we have more on this channel. And thank you, DK, for joining and giving your expertise. Definitely love having you.